Margot, oh my goodness. Are we really having this conversation right now?
I cannot believe it's been 8 weeks.
Seriously, it's just like it almost gets faster and faster. I am so excited because when I do these conversations, like I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth. I have a good sense because I've just been with you in the trenches. But I'm really excited for you to really share what it's been like for you over the last 8 weeks. And before we do that, I'd love for you just to introduce, yourself, where you live, how old you are, all that good stuff.
Yes, definitely. So my name is Margot, and I live in LA, in Venice Beach, and I'm 36, and I actually turn 37 tomorrow, which is very timely.
Wow.
And I just this year, actually, I started my own company as a financial consultant for restaurants.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And we'll talk about that as well because that's been impacted even in the last 8 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. So first of all, you and I are neighbours now.
Welcome to the Best Coast.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. And you know what? Jenny's ice cream, I'm going to need to get locked out of that place. It's so good.
Yes, you're going to have to try Sweet Rose Creamery too.
I haven't tried them yet.
You need to go on Main Street only because it's my old company, but they have the best salted caramel and fresh mint chip.
You don't have to say that twice. I'll be
yes.
Oh my gosh, now you got my brain into ice cream. Okay, so Margot, let's just get down and dirty with really what the last 8 weeks has been like for you. I do remember our call like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to all the really good stuff. But before we do, I would love for you just to really let us in on what it was actually like for you when you made that call with me. You might need to just close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and just drop into, it's uncomfortable and I know you've just gone so far, but just drop back into that place that you were in when you thought, you know what, I need to do something about this. I'm really ready to change. Can you let us in on just what it was like?
Yeah, it came from, it's so funny. I knew very little about you or the program. I'd watched the masterclass video, and everything that you said in the video and on the call just totally resonated with me. And it all felt very intuitive. I think I have done a lot of work and I've done a lot of therapy.
How much? Just tell us for those women that are watching that feel the
yeah,
same.
I've done at least 10 years worth of therapy, which is a lot of therapy.
Well, that's huge, and I don't want to gloss over that. And that's actually where I want to acknowledge you. I'm just so you know, I'm actually in temporary accommodation, so that's why I'm lurking around trying to find the best light.
Totally okay.
But I want to acknowledge you, Margot, that it takes a really courageous woman to say, it's not like you're not trying. You're out there really actively participating with trying to actually solve this, right?
Yes.
And that's what impressed me so much when I spoke with you. It's like you've been out there in the world showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
But the bottom line was that when we got down to it, you're like, yeah, but it hasn't changed anything at a cellular level.
Yes.
And there are women that are going to be watching this, shaking their head going, oh my gosh, Margot, that's me.
Yes. I mean, I love therapy. I love my therapist.
Yeah.
And she's definitely gotten me through a lot of very difficult times.
Yeah.
And when I talk to you, I think you even said, hey, you have a lot of self-awareness, and I feel like I do, but there's no action. And you sort of said, what's changed for you in 10 years? And are you okay? I don't know if you said, are you okay being in the same place you are now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And I think that was huge for me, was making the transition from theory and self-awareness to actualization.
Yes.
And this course gave me, I'm a super practical, tangible person. And this course gave me a lot of very practical, pragmatic exercises and things that I could do on a daily basis to feel like I'm not just in my head understanding why I am the way I am. I'm actually actively working on changing my own behavior.
Yeah. And actually to be honest with you, there's nothing practical about the program, just to be clear, in terms of two things here. One thing was that it was very helpful with therapy, but there was no activation and integration with the heart.
Yeah.
And yes, there are tools and support and the process, right, that you just were referring to that you could get your teeth into.
Yeah.
But it's to get you into the heart.
Yes. Yes. For me, the tools and the exercises were helpful because the end game is what was most important, but it was very empowering for me to feel like I could control it. I could do those exercises. It came from within, and you sort of gave me like the roadmap when I didn't have one before. I didn't know how to like sink into my heart and make the connection between head and heart.
Yeah.
And so the course really helped me with that.
Yeah, it's been a huge
Yeah.
level for you. It's like even your energy.
Yes.
Right now, I mean, you girls obviously didn't see Margot 8 weeks ago, but I can tell you, super cool chick even 8 weeks ago, but really flighty and in the headspace, not in who she really is.
Yes.
So if we just get back to where you were, just for our gorgeous soul sisters who are sort of in a place right now where they know something change, how are you feeling in your heart and soul, like as to why you needed to take this radical action?
I think for me, I think it was the sense of urgency. It felt like, hey, I'm getting older. I want to have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a lot of good things for myself, but they're not working. And after so long, it gets really frustrating and it gets really, I don't know if demoralizing is the right word, but you start to lose faith.
Yeah.
And I'm a pretty optimistic person, but you have that internal doubt that just starts to get bigger and bigger, and it kind of shadows you. And it just felt like, no, there has to be a different path. There has to be a different way, because there's still so much life left to live, and I want to live it differently. And I just needed help in terms of like how I do that.
My God, that was like a real
yeah.
But it's true, because many of you can relate to what just trying to get some more light in here. Many of you can relate to what Margot is saying. Like, you can tell right now, like, Margot's super bright, and she came to me super aware of a lot of the things that were in her way. And I said that to her. I was like, wow, you've definitely got all this awareness, but this is the missing piece is, I have women that come to me that are great at manifesting, women that, they're great at doing all these other things. But when it comes to love, it's like, no, I do not have confidence in that area. I can't count on myself. I don't trust myself. I don't trust that it's going to work out.
Mm-hmm. Another huge thing for me too, I don't know if other women can relate to this, but it wasn't like there are a series of bad relationships or failed relationships. I literally was so guarded and so protected that I couldn't even engage. Like, I have very close friends and very close family and a really good professional network. But when it comes to romantic partnerships, like, I couldn't even sit at the table. I would just avoid.
Oh, there's plenty of women that can relate to that right now. And that was because you weren't in alignment with your greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we move into all the really good stuff, what was it like for you, living like this and looking down the barrel of another year being the same? Like, really, how is that sitting in your body?
It sucked. To be totally blunt. I think, you know, if they're the women that are watching this, you've probably been that single girl at the wedding, at a friend's dinner party, at the baby shower, at whatever. And I'm always very happy and grateful for my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get to this point where you're like, why can't it also be me?
Yeah.
And again, it's sowing more self-doubt. And then you start this negative cycle that's really not helpful.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it just felt like there's more out there. And I couldn't figure out a way to tap into it.
Yeah.
But it's very isolating.
It is very isolating. And were there feelings deep down of like, there's something wrong with me? Like, why can't I have this?
Yes, 100%. And then you start to, you know, it's self-doubt, like I said, and you're kind of critical, and you should always be your number one champion. And all of that sort of starts to get pushed to the back because fear just keeps setting in. And fear can be very powerful.
Yeah, it can stop tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, and I'm so close to getting into the good stuff. Can't wait. But like, what was the thing, Margot, that actually scared you the most about not solving this?
I think, also, sorry, you made me think of one other sort of pattern that I was doing that really resonated with me too. Was I was dating, I was going on dates, and I was online dating, and I feel like I was just spinning my wheels because everyone was telling me it's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. And then after I spoke with you and I watched the video, the masterclass, something clicked, and it felt like, why are you just spinning your wheels? You're just going through the motion, but you're wasting your time. And that's just making you feel worse by going on bad dates.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry.
No. Let's not gloss over that, because that's really, so the point is it's like, it's what I say to women. It's like, there is no point in going on one single date if we are not in a soulmate relationship with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, is literally like getting on a plane to Russia and you're trying to go to Tokyo.
Yes.
It's like, you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
You know? And it's that simple. And it's like, you know, your time is precious and it shouldn't be, you know, you're operating out of lack. And I used to do it too. It's a horrible thing because you think that that's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, well, I'm better doing that than just not going. It's like, actually, no. It's more damaging because
it's a moot point.
Yeah, and it's and you're never going to attract in the right kind of guy anyway, which makes the whole thing redundant. And then it takes up time, and before you know it, you're like, hang on, my fertility is on the line right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And it just contributes to that like negative snowballing of, oh, well, now I'm just going on bad dates with guys that I'm not attracted to, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel fun.
No.
So let's get to the really fun part then. Okay, so then you ended up choosing you and saying, you know what, I want to step up. I'm ready to really change my life.
Yes.
How did that feel for you once you'd made that decision?
Terrifying. I hung up the phone with you and I was like, I don't know if I can swear in here, but
yes, of course.
Holy shit. I don't know what I just committed to. I didn't talk to anybody else about it. I'm not usually an impulsive person. I don't usually make decisions off, like, I don't know. It just felt like, oh my God, I just said yes to something very big. And it was terrifying.
Yep, totally.
But it was like this blind faith in the unseen.
Ooh.
And everything you said resonated.
Did you hear those sirens?
Oh my God, every time. It's urgent. It's very urgent. I know.
I don't know if you could hear it. The girls, the reason I'm laughing is because on our call, there was literally, I had not heard one siren. I was staying actually in Santa Monica before we moved here with Margot. And I said, Margot, I hear sirens all the time in New York, but I said, I've literally heard them 3 times on the call with you. Like, this is urgent.
Yep.
I just had a fire truck just then, but like,
very appropriate.
Yes, I love the universe. It's got such a good sense of humor, but I love what you just said for so many different reasons, because when you came to me, you were in that like awareness, but it was also very like intellectual, and it was in the masculine. Yet in that moment, your heart made that decision.
Yes.
You trusted something that felt really right for you.
Yeah.
And then now you've gone through the 8 weeks. What does that mean to you now about when you make decisions from your heart?
Oh, that's a good question. It feels so good because it feels so right. And it feels like I can trust myself. I can rely on myself. I know what's best for me.
Yes.
Especially when I was younger, I used to never be able to make decisions because it was like, I want to make the right decision.
Ah.
And now it's like, fuck right. Like, you're going to make the best decision that you can for you.
Yes.
And that's very empowering. And it also just takes, it takes pressure off because there is no such thing as right or perfect. I love perfectly imperfect. And so you start to just sort of think about things like you're living by your own roadmap and your own North Star.
Yes.
And then there is no wrong.
No, but I want you to really celebrate and just take a moment. Like, I just want to acknowledge you to say that there was a million reasons, Margot, why you could have easily just said, oh, no, Lucy, like, I don't want to, it would have been conditional, right? I just can't step out of my comfort zone that much, or I don't want to invest in myself yet at that,
Yes.
No. As you said, you defied this, like, I'm not normally impulsive. It's like, it wasn't impulsive. You were actually ready. And you followed through on something that felt right. This is no different to how it's going to be for you when your soulmate comes in. We don't get a written guarantee with love. But now you're someone that can count on herself to go, when I trust my heart, everything works out.
Yes.
That's what I want to acknowledge in you.
Yes.
Like, how do you, and this can only come from you, not me right now, but like knowing that you made that really bold decision, how do you feel now 8 weeks later where it's just like, do you feel like you exceeded your expectations, or did you get what you came for? Like, really share with us. What?
Oh my God. I just got chills. I don't think I had any clue what I was getting into. And so I couldn't have even told you like what my real expectations were. But it far and away blew everything out of the water. I don't think I could I didn't think I could experience what I've experienced in 8 weeks.
Wow.
In so many different realms. Like, for me, and everybody who goes through this obviously goes through in their own path and their own pace. And I feel like I would go like slow and steady, and then it would be like, boom, I just realized, X or Y or something, or boom, I just had this experience and was able to connect these dots that I've never been able to connect before.
Yeah.
And again, I've been in therapy for 10 years. So a lot of these issues are issues that I've spent a lot of time on.
Yeah.
But have never been able to move through.
Wow.
And I just feel like, man, I always come back to shine in my light. Like, I think Kiki, one of the other women in the group, had said, like, there's always been a light shining, but it was almost like it was shining over here and you were standing over there. And now you're stepping into that spotlight. And it feels as though, yeah, I am. And I should be. And why wouldn't I? When it doesn't, I don't mean for it to come from a place of cockiness. It really just feels like, man, it feels good to be in alignment, like where you're supposed to be.
Yes. So, I from the rooftops, Queen. Hello.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We brag, right? No holding back. It's like, look, Margot, you stepped up like a mother freaker in the past 8 weeks. This wasn't handed to you on a silver platter.
No.
Co-creation, and like, without obviously going into what soul to soul is and every step, but like, what do you think it is for you, like, that really made the difference, that you could shift so much in 8 weeks? Because I know your soul sisters here are wanting to hear that. Like, what was that? Was it the sisterhood? Was it the level of support? Like, what was it?
I think it was two things. One is, if you choose to, there's nowhere to hide. So you show up every day and you kind of can't sneak by, or you can, but why would you? Because that's not fair to yourself or to the other women in the group. And so it's like a constant, it's like any sport you've ever done or any skill you've ever learned. Like, you got to practice. You got to practice every day. You got to practice when you don't want to, when you're tired. And so you can't just avoid, which I'm used to be really good at.
Yeah.
So I think it's that consistency day over day.
The accountability.
The accountability for sure. And then second was the women in the group. I mean, you know this because you've seen, so many women come through, but I had no idea what to expect. And you're diving in really deep, really quickly.
Yeah.
And even though it's very uncomfortable, what you're diving into, the space and the forum of women make it so unbelievably safe.
Yeah.
And supportive that you feel like, man, I can achieve this because I have so much support around me.
Yeah.
That it's not artificial, it's not fake, it's not insincere. They are genuinely rooting for you and you them as well.
Yeah, and that's actually the truth. This is not a numbers game, as you know now. When I can say this to you, I said it to you on our call, but it's like, if anything, it's the majority of people that I don't invite in.
Yeah.
This is not for everyone. It's for a certain type of woman who isn't willing to tolerate going through another year of the same, who's ready to step up and to fight for that dream. Yeah. And it's so true. It's like there are plenty of programs you go to where they'll just take anyone because they want to get the money. This is not that. And now from having been in the circle, it's like it's a high caliber.
Yeah. It's so important, and you can tell and you can feel kind of the quality of people that are coming in.
Yeah.
Because everyone has such a strong impact on the whole.
From like day one, right? It's like, you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm so happy. It's so great. Like, we can chat about this now, because on the call, again, like, you're taking my word for it. But now it's like, oh no, like, this was not like just a sea of women, everyone in different stages. It's like, you're all actually in the same boat.
Yeah.
And
it's cool too, actually, that we are in different stages. I didn't fully appreciate that right away. I think because when you are new, you're just like, what's happening? How does this work? But I think now it was so nice for me to have women that were ahead of me in the process and could support me in a different way. And then as I've moved through the process, you have new women coming after you.
Yeah.
That hopefully I am supporting as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So that's been really cool too.
It was really lovely to watch that as well, Margot, when there's new women coming in, where you get to be someone who's along the process. It's like, oh, cool. You're where I was.
Yeah. That's very cool too.
Yeah. I love watching that shift of seeing people when they come in and it's all brand new and it's like, oh my goodness. And then it's like, hang on, come with me. And it's so cool. So that's a collective consciousness. And that's why I don't do any private work anymore. I've done that for years, but this is about, this is the quickest way to rise, when you've got the right people on your team who really do want to commit to their greatness.
Yeah.
There's not people in there whinging and complaining and pulling stuff down. Like, that's just going to drag everyone down. So let's get to the cool, like, this is all very cool, but like, I would love for you to take just a hot second now to brag about all the shifts that you've had. Like, as you said, it's not just in one area. This is much bigger than just the soulmate. This is on every level, Margot. So really just take the stage right now to shine your light and to just have a good old brag fest about the things that have changed.
Yes. Okay. I'm laughing too, because I just did a live this morning that was like, I'm going to just go from the top and go all out, which is not characteristic of me.
New story. It's
new
very
story. You stand in your light.
Yes.
I have seen shifts and changes in so many different ways and areas, from how calm I am and how confident I am in my professional career, and kind of just knowing taking meetings with potential clients, knowing that stuff's going to come into the pipeline and not being constantly stressed out about it.
Yeah, and scarcity.
Scarcity. I'm sort of believing in my product and what I'm putting out there and knowing that things will come to me. And it makes it much... Sorry?
To elaborate that you have had clients coming in during Soul to Soul.
Yes, 100%. I launched a P&L boot camp in the middle of Soul to Soul. And I remember I sort of said the night before I sent out my email to my network, I visualized it and got so much support from people in the group. And the next day it was like my inbox was flooded with just support from people like from all over my professional career, which was so cool. And clients and referrals and stuff's coming in, yes. Which feels really good.
Yeah, because you opened up to receiving. This is the feminine. Yes. This is
yes.
what it is, Margot. It was, and I loved how quickly that happened for you. Like 1 minute you were talking about it, the next minute there was tangible outcomes already in the process.
Yes, that was huge. Even, sorry, side note, but even this morning I took an interview for a job, and I kind of just took it for the sake of taking it. And the old me would have been like, oh, you should just do everything to get this job offer. And halfway through, I sort of said to myself, do you really want this? And I was like, no, not really. And I was like, okay, then that's that. And it doesn't matter. So just putting yourself first, and I'm constantly now putting myself first and thinking like, what does Margot want?
Yes.
Like, you just want the job because you want to be offered the job, or do you really want the job?
Yeah, big difference.
Which is really cool. And then with relationships with friends and family, I think I'm taking up more space and I'm setting clearer boundaries.
Yeah.
And I've gone through some heavy family stuff, especially with my sister, as you know.
Yeah.
And I used to really feel defined by it and shame around it.
Yeah.
And if anything, now it's really helped me see that it's a part of me. It's part of who I am, but it also doesn't define me, and it makes me stronger for having gone through it.
No.
Which is huge for me to reframe like that.
It's not owning.
Yeah, it's not owning me, and that's not my whole story anymore.
No.
And yeah, I think it's just tapping into. Sorry, I'm kind of bouncing around, but I get excited.
Yeah.
It's tapping into joy and pleasure at the most simple levels. So I adopted a puppy, as you know, and it's like, let's go be a little girl again. Let's go have fun. Let's go to the beach. Let's go play. Let's go live in the now and make sure you're enjoying it, because that's what this is all about.
But I want to be clear as well that, because people might watch that and go, well, I can just go do that. Why do I need to go do Soul to Soul? But the point is that it's because you were clearing all the heaviness.
Yes.
And all the constriction.
Yes.
And the self-loathing and the resentment,
yes.
The stuff that's just, we pile on top of each other, that you're able to have these precious, simple moments.
Yes. You go really deep to kind of unearth and uncover and let stuff out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. I couldn't kind of tap into joy if I hadn't been really uncomfortable, but dug through the mud.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to clarify, just because, you know what I mean? Because
yes,
this is one of the big traps is women come to me and they're like, well, I'm just being really positive and I'm just going to do some exercise. I'm like, that's not going to change 30 years of conditioning.
No.
Neither is a bit of meditation, and neither therapy, even though, you know, you love your therapist and therapy is very helpful. I have therapists go through my program. I have psychologists go through my program. Why? Because innately inside of every one of us is that wounded little girl who's running our adult life. And we can't figure this out in our head.
No,
and
not at all.
that's why when we've got to look at how freaking cool this is, that in 8 weeks, you've shifted what you couldn't in 10 years.
Yes.
Monumental.
Very empowering because you assume so much control over things that I didn't used to think I had control over.
Yes.
And now you're like, fuck yes, it's mine to change and mine to do with what I want.
Yes.
Which is really cool. And sorry, one more thing.
No, you go.
From romantically, it's also, I mean, I think there was a part of me that sort of gave up and doubted that I could have what I wanted.
Totally.
And part of this is getting back in touch with what your hopes and dreams are for yourself and like being so clear about it and putting it out there into the universe from a place that you genuinely believe is like, yeah, why wouldn't I get this?
But Margot, this is everything right now that you're saying, because we could listen to that and be like, oh yeah, cool. Like I know what I want, but I'll tell you right now, I've been on thousands of calls.
Yeah.
And the bit that I think is the funnest part of the call, that really plugging into your dreams, most women, like majority, find that really hard because it's like, well, what's the point in even having that dream if it's not going to work for me, if I'm not going to have it? And they don't believe they can have it. So when you just said, well, yeah, like, because the thing is, I believe I can have it now, like, that's huge. There's another
there's another siren.
So I just want to feed back to you, like, that's what we were 8 weeks ago, and this lightness and this high fire engines and this joy and the fact that, like, it's just expansion, Margot, that you're really emitting right now.
It feels very natural, and it feels very from within as opposed to external stuff influencing it.
Oh my goodness. I could just stare at you, but that would get a little weird. Okay. So then tell us, have you had, it's always really cool to, because it's such big shifts in such a small amount of time, but like, tell us about, if people around you notice this that aren't in Soul to Soul.
Yes, undeniably. I think I literally just talked to a best friend of mine who doesn't live in LA. And we've talked 3 times throughout the whole process. And she today was like, holy shit, you are a different person. Your energy is different. How you show up for yourself is different. And my friends in LA have seen this and said things to me. And then my dad, who my parents know that I'm doing something, a course, but I haven't given them any specifics.
Yeah.
And I've just sort of described big, broad brushstrokes. My dad's so cute. He sent me an email this morning that somebody in his HR department had sent him about self-development and self-awareness. And he's like, this kind of sounds like what you're doing. Aww. And that's really cool. I was like, thanks, Dad. I really appreciate that.
Well, that's so beautiful. I tell you what, there's like an orchestra. You probably can't hear all of this, but there was like and
I'm telling you, I get it. And I paid attention.
Yeah, because the universe loves you. It's basically just honks, which is confirmation. But it's, and maybe you girls can't hear that either, but it's cool. It's in a back alley here. But this is what you'll see. Remember, Jazz, like people that are in the program, like it's so cool when you notice like the impact of when you start to level up. You're not available for the low vibrational conversations anymore. You're not available to be this people pleaser pushover anymore. And people feel it and notice it.
Yes.
And I love that your dad's like seeing more of you now. Like that's so touching.
Yes.
And you're impacting him without even trying to.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. My mom, who I've had a very difficult relationship with, she even said to me, she was like, do you think they do courses for, married people in their 70s? I was like, probably, Mom. Like, this one's not for you. This is about me. But I was like, you should explore that.
But she's asking because she's seeing something in her daughter that's really speaking to her. Like, that is such a celebration, honey. Like, just revel and bask in the fact that you are standing in this place now, Margot, because
Yeah.
you made the decision to step the F up.
Yes.
And it's all
I'm
you.
so glad that I did.
Yeah, it's all you. Like, it's my pleasure to actually say to you, you know, you chose this. You put yourself in this place,
Yeah.
get this level of support, and now you've got this beautiful new reference that when you trust your heart, everything shows up.
Yes.
And you're going to go on to keep knowing, hang on a minute, am I going to block myself from an opportunity, or am I going to feel into the truth of it?
Yes.
And you've got that now, and you've got
Yes.
you now, and you are in like incredibly different energy now. The one thing that's so obvious to me is, I've said to you like throughout the process, but now it's just so present. Like, it's this stillness and this alignment, and you're pushing or trying or overdoing anything. It's just like beautiful feminine knowing.
Yes.
And
I love that.
certainty and joy. Margot, you've got your sparkle back.
I feel it. I really do feel it. I'm like smiling cheek to cheek all the time.
It's so beautiful.
It feels very, very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my God, I would get, like I said, it's like when people have babies, it's not like, oh, just another baby. It's like, oh my goodness. And that's how I feel when I see a woman like claim her life. It touches me deeply, because I've just watched you like plow through the moments that did get confronting, and you were just there. You were fully committed, and that takes guts.
It's not easy. I mean, I do believe like you need to go through the discomfort to come out the other side. But oh my God, I can't even imagine, and I'm not just saying this, I cannot even imagine having not done this, because like I said, like I've done therapy for 10 years. I'm 36. Like, I've tried a lot of stuff. And when you said to me like, yeah, but is it working? And how important is it to you to step up and to change your own outcome? It was like holy shit, of course.
Yeah.
This isn't the practice. This isn't the dress rehearsal. Like, this is it. So make it count.
I felt that so deep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Take, like, don't even, it's like, forget me right now, girls that are watching. Like, that, what you just said is everything.
Yeah.
This is not a dress rehearsal. You girls that are sitting there, like some of you are on the sidelines knowing that this is for you. And it's cool if you're watching this and it's not for you. Like, hey, it's not for everyone. But if you're sitting there and you're really feeling something within, I mean, what Margot just said was like, this is not a dress rehearsal, another siren. We have our life right now today. And the year swings by really bloody quickly. And the year after that. And until we get intentional, until we actually put our stake in the ground and go, no, I refuse to let another year go by being the same.
Yeah.
And that's what you did.
Yeah.
So
it feels really good.
Yes. I've got to jump off to do the Q&A. But before I do, Margot, I would just love for you to, like, what is it that you would say to a soul sister that is sitting there going, oh my goodness, like, this does feel for me, like it's for me, but it's really scary. Like, what advice would you give to someone right now that they can feel that this is right? But of course there's fear that came up for you when you said yes. That's normal.
Yeah.
What would you say to that beautiful soul sister right now that just is just so close?
I would say you're not alone, that there are a lot of women out there that are going through something similar, myself included, and that you are more powerful than you think, and that you have the power, and you alone, to step up for yourself and say yes and put you first and change your course. And if you're given that opportunity, like, the rest will fall into place. It's a leap of faith, but it's one that will change your life.
I want to sign up to what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm in it, and couldn't be happier.
No, I just, it's so funny. Like sometimes when I do this, it's like literally you're so truly like in your truth right now, and it's magnetic, and legitimately I'm like, whatever she's having, what are you doing?
Right?
Yes, because of like, because of your certainty and your alignment, like it's really contagious, Margot. And this, how you're speaking right now so confidently and in your knowing, is
Yeah.
why your soulmate's going to come in. I mean, Margot, just so you girls know, like she has one more week, right? So you're not allowed to date in Soul to Soul. But like right now, how do you feel about your soulmate coming in?
I'm so excited, and I can't wait to meet him. Like I know he's around, he's in the atmosphere, and I'm not a very spiritual person, but I know he's out there, and he's so excited to meet me. And I feel like you said to me on our welcome call, you were like, if I put your soulmate in front of you next weekend, what would you do? And I was like, oh, I would absolutely sabotage it.
Yeah.
And now I feel like, oh man, if my soulmate appears in front of me next weekend, I'm ready. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that to happen.
Yes. Well, it's done. It's happening. And with this energy that you have right now and this vitality and just like sitting in who you are, Margot, it is inevitable.
Yeah. It feels, I genuinely believe that now.
Yeah.
I don't just sort of self-talk and tell myself that. I genuinely believe that.
And there is the outcome, girls.
Yeah.
That. Because we can't fake a belief, and we can't fake a knowing, like energy and vibration, right? And that, Margot, right there is everything what you just said. Because you believe it now, and because you know how freaking valuable you are, you can receive it in. Whereas before, you couldn't.
No way.
Because you were in disbelief.
Yeah, I was so closed.
Yeah. And now you're not.
Feels really good. Feels very liberating.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, I literally am just bowing down to you over here. I'm just so proud of you.
I will send that right back to you. I could not have done this without you. I mean, literally, what you have created is so special and so unique, and I've never been a part of something like that, quite like this. So now there's sirens here.
We just have to, the universe.
It's important.
So the sirens, I'm just going to be really clear here for those of you where this is really urgent. It's almost like Margot's passing it forward. She's paying it forward. She's passing that baton on, just saying, I mean, literally, Margot, what you're also saying is if I can do it, you can do it.
100%.
Yeah. And if people want to reach out to you, is that okay? Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, this is just the beginning. The best is truly yet to come. And I'm going to go on and jump in and talk about a juicy topic in the free group. But Margot, thank you so much for coming on. And
absolutely.
This.
I know.
This. Yeah. So go and do something beautiful to celebrate and just keep basking, reveling. And I can't wait to obviously see you through this last week.
I know.
Okay.
I can't wait. And I'll see you tomorrow in the Q&A.
100%. I can't wait. Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye.